All right, and we are live. Sorry if you
Mhm.
guys were watching that previous stream. I don't know what was going on, but we were having some technical difficulties, so we had to go to commercial. But yeah, now that everything is like actually working the way it's supposed to, we can go ahead and reintroduce ourselves and also drop the topic. So, my co host is a professional dancer, choreographer, has been a dance teacher, has been on two TV shows, America's Got Talent and So You Think You Can Dance, and she's kind of my best friend, so yeah, give it up for Shaudy Best.
Oh, yay. Okay. Well, my co-host is a makeup artist extraordinaire. It's getting really loud in my house again. Sorry. He's a makeup artist extraordinaire. He is a guru. He does tarot readings. He studied apparel design. He owned his own business. So he's run like a company, and he's done so many things. He's multifaceted, and his name is Azrael&Shaudy. And he's also my best friend. So,
Boom. Okay.
yes.
Twitter's gonna go ablaze. I'm just like, I don't know why I
Oh
did
my god. Which
that.
Twitter? Like which version of Twitter?
um,
There's many different versions.
yes, there are different shades of Twitter.
Yes.
I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing. But today's topic essentially is gonna be about self worth. So we're just gonna like drop a couple prompts, answer the questions, then we're gonna dip into like a mental health check-in and just talk about life. So
Yeah.
essentially the first question, and I'm gonna throw it to Shadi to answer first. How do you determine your own self-worth?
Okay, well, what I was saying earlier was that my self worth isn't determined by outside influences or outside feelings or anyone telling me who I am or who I'm supposed to be. My self worth comes from within, and it's almost like an intuition or just a feeling of you knowing who you are and knowing your truth and just being yourself. So my self worth and my just inner peace is measured by just my happiness, and if I'm taking care of me and if I'm taking mental health days and just relaxing and taking time to reflect and think about my life. And yeah, it just comes from me. I feel like no one else can tell me who I am or try to change me or make me a different person, and I wouldn't want them to. So yeah, I just believe it comes from within, and it's almost like an intuition.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a little bit more fragmented. There's like how I feel my self worth, and then like the big picture of what I think my self worth is tied to.
Yeah.
So I feel like everyone here has meditated before. If you haven't tried, it's amazing. You can't hear no thoughts, but essentially, I like got like this vision of me on a zaggurat. Which, if you don't know what a zaggurat is, like a plateau. Think like the Aztec buildings, or like kind of like a pyramid, but it has flat sides where you can grow things, and there's stairs and things like that. Um, I
Wow.
remember seeing a version of myself that was much, much more deep olive, and people would come talk to me, and they would leave with like this golden glow. So it's weird because like that's one of my favorite like makeup looks just to do, because I feel like bronze looks good on everybody. Um, but I feel like that's only half the answer. I feel like that's like on the soul level. On like a human level, I feel like I I don't necessarily look at myself and ever feel done or accomplished. Um, but I gauge my self worth based on the pursuits of the things that I think will get me to that point where I feel like I'm on my zaggurat, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like I base a lot of my self worth on chasing my dreams and getting close to them and manifesting them. And like I feel like when I get to do things like this, or I get to produce makeup videos or do tarot, or just anything that's like a pure reflection of something I would be doing anyway, but I'm sharing that and being able to like extend the skill set to people who might actually find it practical, even though to me it's not that like, I don't know. I feel like, you know what you know, but you don't know how important it is until you get to having conversations with others.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really interesting question and answer. Definitely.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, about my cat, Marceline.
Oh no,
She's not
she's ready for a close up.
she's not happy in the hallway, so she's like freaking out. But yeah.
So
I
okay,
totally agree with you.
I feel like in terms of self worth, have you ever been inside a situation where like there was a reputation that preceded you that wasn't accurate?
Um, yeah, all the time. Like people will just be like, "Oh, you're fake," or "Oh, you're stuck up," or "Oh, you're too proper." It was just like always these things. Like people always thought I was better than them, but like they're like, "Oh, you think because your last name is Best, like that you are better than everybody, and you're fake, and you're this," and it just wasn't fair because they didn't get a chance to like actually know me. And if you know me, you know I'm not like that. I'm really nice and I'm really humble and very like I've accomplished a lot, but I don't even really talk about it or broadcast it to people. So I just don't understand where that really came from. And I don't think it was fair that I was labeled like fake and like I wasn't real. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah, I can definitely relate to like having a reputation that is not accurate. Um,
Mhm.
like a thorn in my side my entire life has been people making assumptions based on what they see. So it's like when I didn't care about my appearance, it's like I got teased about being gay and awkward. When I cared about my appearance, I was treated as if I thought I was better than everybody. Um, and like you would think that stops in middle school, but it really doesn't. Even as an adult, like I
Mhm.
still go through so much. Like literally, like I briefly talk about some of it inside my mental health video, but essentially like me coming back to YouTube, the big itch, the big thing that like drove me here was being told by people who I didn't honestly give a fuck about, telling me, "Oh yeah, you're never gonna be able to get to where you want to get because of your attitude, or the way that you see things is not right, or the way that you chase after what you want, no." Or like it's to the point where like, I mean, I work in cosmetics. I am
Yeah.
typically the only guy, and I'm a triple minority in that sense because I'm the only guy, I'm of color, and I'm gay. So people want to call me girl, and it's like I'm not your girl. Don't call me girl. I'm not your girl.
Mm-mm.
Beyond that, it's like people just assume that because I look young, that I am young, so you can play me. And it's like, no, you can't. You really cannot. And literally, like I had to get back on YouTube to hear my voice again because all I could hear was them. And I was losing myself. Like, and the thing is, like, I know what's healthy communication and what's not. When
Mhm.
you can't like identify or hear your own voice or hear or see the good things about yourself because so many people are clicked up and trying so hard to like bury you professionally, it does something to you. Like a part of me was dead for a long time, and now I can log on and I can say what the hell I want, and if you don't like it, you can get the fuck off my channel, okay?
Mm. Oh my
And
god.
like that's just how I feel. Like, and that's not drama or beef or anything to do with the people who support me. If you support me, I support you and I love you very much.
Yeah.
But if you don't support me, why the hell are you watching me?
Exactly. Like what are you trying to accomplish? You're trying to feed into some negativity or like something that you created in your own mind about this person. And when they're not like that or when they're not giving you what you want, like you get mad, but I'm like you have to get to know people. Like you can't just assume or tell someone oh, you're not going to make it, or oh, you're not going to get to where you want to get because of how you are. Like that's not right.
Yeah. I mean, reputation can really be annoying to deal with because reputation has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the people who interact with you. And sadly, there's no filter between the people who interact with you and are secure in life and the people who interact with you who hate themselves. So
Yeah.
often a target by those who hate themselves and don't aren't comfortable with what they see when they look in the mirror. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just like my personal thorn in my side. Like I always feel like there's always somebody coming for me, always somebody like just not coming correct. And it's like if the shoe were on the other foot and I treated them that way, there would be like such an issue. But it's like
Yeah.
just because I'm not in management, like or not someone who runs stuff. I've had experiences in the past where it just wasn't nice, and it just honestly was really disheartening as somebody who literally like I'm like I don't see a lot of people who actually look like me. I don't see a lot of minorities, and the minorities who I do see, it's like if I see them, we're opposite sides of the day. Like when I clock in, they're clocking out, and then the people who are there all the time, they don't even see any of my struggles as a person of color. It's like they act like Becky. So you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a lot of times, like especially in professional settings, I just really feel like I'm better off being an entrepreneur and better off doing my own thing anyway because I don't even fit into a corporation. I never really have. Like I come from an entrepreneurial family. So I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people don't understand somebody who goes out there and gets it on their own.
And it's just unfortunate that like you feel like you can't be a part of like the corporate world or like a 9 to 5 job because you just don't feel, because I felt this way. It's just you don't feel like you're wanted there.
Not at
And
all.
it's like not in the slightest bit. Like they don't make you feel wanted or like that you're a part of the team. It's just, oh, you're here and you're someone we can pick on. And it's just because they're intimidated. Like it's not like a hatred, or it's like a I have to try to make you feel smaller than you feel or I think you feel because your personality is so big and like you radiate like energy that people aren't like ready for sometimes. And I mean, I can say this because I know you, and it's just not fair that people don't like take that and be like, wow, I want to get to know this person. Because that's what happened to me. When I first saw you guys on Twitter or wherever I saw you, I was like, this person is so cool. What are they doing? Like, I want to be a part of this. But that's just how I look at life. Like, not everybody's like that. It's You're not going to meet a lot of people that see someone doing something cool and immediately they're happy for them. Or Marceline.
I can't be happy for you right now.
She's not happy for me. Like, come on, Marceline. Um, but yeah, I don't understand why people can't just be more supportive and more accepting and
Open.
more,
Yeah.
yeah, open. It's not cool.
Yeah. I feel like the next question is going to be more so about like have you ever come in contact with somebody on a romantic sense that's ever wanted you to change or wanted to remold you? Because that was me in my last relationship, like 2 years of erasing friendships, connections, literally everything that made me, they wanted to like wipe clean. Like they
We
wanted,
didn't even stay friends, if I remember correctly. We didn't even stay friends through that.
yeah, like they had a problem with every single person in my life that was like supportive of me solely.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, so I will say that of all things was the biggest distraction to self worth I've ever had. I literally stopped doing everything that felt like me. Like, which I was about to sign up for community college again. You know, I hate books. You know, I hate to read anything unless it's literally tangible to what I'm trying to figure out. And
Yeah.
I'm a very practical learner. Like, that's just what it is. And like I was getting ready to go to school to be a teacher just because that's what my significant other wanted for me. And it was because they didn't believe inside my makeup dreams. They didn't believe inside any of my skill sets, and they told me I would never make it back to YouTube. So I internalized that for years. Like it took me 2 years to wipe that clean.
Yeah, I mean, that's not cool. Like, he should have. I'm not even going to get into it, but
I mean, I'm just happy that he didn't believe because, child, had he believed and like manipulate the situation, I would have blew up, and then he would have married me. I would have lost half, and then he would have went and ran off with Scallywag. Like, so, like at the end of the day, like, let's get off my back. I'm where I'm supposed to be. Are you?
that's what I'm saying. Like, everything happens for a reason, and I'm just saying the new reasons. It's like Earth, Wind, and Fire. Have you ever heard that Reason song? I'm not gonna sing my voice. I can't do it right now. But yeah, like I just feel like you got so much more coming in that's good for you now than you had back then. So I just,
oh yeah,
it's a completely different vibe now, and I'm just happy it's everything's going well. But for me, I don't know, like a lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm not someone that's even been in too many relationships. And I've been in one and it was pretty toxic. And that was in high school. And he wasn't trying to change me because we both did the same thing. We were both dancers. So we didn't like he never like forced me to be someone I wasn't. It was just I felt like he wanted me to be behind him. Like I could never be in front.
So you could be heard, but not too loud.
Yeah, like I could be heard as long as I'm a little bit lower than he was. And he would just take me everywhere. Like he would do like pageants and um like choreograph for all these like different like events and things. Like we just were going all over the place. Like everybody knew us. And I was just always like the sidekick. And I wasn't like your right hand person or your partner in the situation. It was like I was literally the sidekick. And nobody even knew we were together. So it wasn't like I was getting any benefit from it.
Yeah.
So it was like I was doing all the work and getting no credit. And I just one day, I mean, I said it in the last podcast. It literally was like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm fed up. And I squealed. I literally sang like a canary. And
the blogs, aka
I
the messy
told
girls.
the blogs, and I was like, yeah, everybody's favorite person has been doing this to me for this long, and I'm sick of it. And I just was like, yeah, I'm done. And I left. But he just was really toxic for me. Like we did not get along. It was really like it's like that X Factor song by Lauryn Hill. Like it was like I don't want to get into too much about it, but anytime I like tried to leave or anything, it just got like super intense and super like over the top and overreacting and
Ooh, you want to hear an over the top one? I got one for you.
Yeah.
When my ex decided, okay, keep in mind, I've never said this out loud, not to a soul, and I'm about to say it to an entire subscriber base. But
wow,
like he basically wanted me to be his mom, you know, with the exception of being able to have sex. So I knew where everything was inside our apartment. Everything. There was not one damn there condom I didn't know about. Okay, so when things started coming up missing and like moving and shuffling, and I'm like, oh, what happened to this? And he's like, oh, nothing. Like I haven't seen it. I don't know if my mom touched it or something because his parents would come up there all the time. And by the way, I was paying my half. But I might as well have been roommates with his mama because that's who was paying his household. And he didn't tell me that when he asked me to move in. He did not.
Wow.
I was literally asked to come in to take care, essentially, of his pet and just lower the rent so his parents would get off his back. But yeah, back to the whole cabinet situation. I noticed that some condoms are missing and all this stuff. Maybe 2 or 3 days later, he wants to have a talk about how, like, and this is like, let me tell you how petty he was. When I was still grieving my dad's loss, he told me that at a certain point, like, I just need to get over it because, like, it happened so long ago. Like, it's not happening right now. So I just need to get over it. And when I called him fat, which he used to be fat, he acted like that was just, like, equal weight. When in reality, I told him, do not press this button with me. I really don't need to hear that because you've never lost a family member, let alone a parent. So you do not know what I'm going through. You don't understand. And when I finally, like, verbally punched back and gave him, like, okay, well, you should do something about that muffin top, he, like, legit, like, was like, that became the excuse. It was like, I can't sleep with you. I can't have sex with you. I can't, like, I don't want to. Like, we need to have an open relationship. Like,
like, he would have got knocked the fuck out if he ever said that to me.
Keep in mind, my dad died on Halloween, and he literally sprung this on me, like, the 10th of October, and basically said that if I did not go along with this, I should probably find a way for me to move out as soon as possible. Which I was like, I paid for half. What the fuck do you mean move out as soon as possible? I paid for this month. Like, what the fuck? And yeah, we didn't even make it another 10 days. By the end of that 10 days, I was trying to leave. He wouldn't let me leave. When I called the police to leave, he started attacking me. I defended myself, and I got arrested. Even though I was the person who was bleeding. And, like, literally open gashes, the whole nine. Like, and he was a firearm owner of 2. He even sent, like, pictures with guns to people who, like, wanted to hook up with me when we were inside our open relationship that he strong-armed me into. So it's like, I remember telling him, like, yeah, I'm leaving. Like, I'm done. Like, I can't do this. I want to say it was probably, like, the 17th because it was 2 or 3 days before it all hit the fan. And when I tell you, when you deal with a narcissist, there's this really weird thing that happens when you finally, like, hit them at the core emotionally, where, like, you see the real child behind them. And he, like, ran to the bed, balled up, like, fetal position, and cried about the fact that I was leaving him.
I can't make that face. I hope they didn't catch that.
But, like, is that not the biggest crock of shit ever? It's like, you don't want me. You just want to make sure that nobody else does. Like, you want to literally drag me through the dirt, ruin relationships, like, and it's like, it's not even, like, it got to a point where, like, he was literally chasing after people that, like, I knew. Like, people that had beef with, the whole nine. So it's like, you know what I mean? I literally feel like he was trying to turn me inside out and just, like, fucking murder my fucking insides. Like,
I'm still stuck on. Like, you never really told me much of this. Like, you kind of went into detail.
Like, the things I had to get used to, I will wake up in the morning to, like, take my first pee after I open my eyes, and he's on the couch masturbating on Grindr, talking to people, because he needs the dopamine hit. And he doesn't fucking realize that he has a fucking mental disorder.
Like, that's
not good. And the craziest thing is when I finally got to talk to the ex that he dragged, the one that he was like, yeah, this person got on drugs and this and that. This person was a nurse and still is a nurse. You cannot do drugs and be a nurse. Beyond that, the first thing that they wrote back to me when I was like, hey, I just really need to, like, you know, confirm and or didn't find out what's really going on with this person, because I was with them for 2 years. You were with them for 4 years. We were literally, me and his ex were born a day apart. So I was like, there's no way a Capricorn's going to turn on you unless you really do something to them.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did a lot of really fucked up shit to him. And I'm not going to like put it all out there. But the one thing I will put out there is that the first response I got was him asking me, does his mom still arrange his dildos by height? And yeah, she did. She still does. She probably still does to this day.
Yeah, I have no words. Oh, okay. I have to keep it together because we're on.
I feel like no one understands the depth. Like, imagine having that person put hands on you at the end of all of that.
You would have got the 3 piece.
And do you want to know? Do you guys literally want to know what the breaking point was? The breaking point was when I bought my car in cash in one day, because I hadn't had a car from February all the way to October. The day I bought my car, he like started more drama. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to Francisco's. Like, I'm going to South Sac. I will see you later. He starts talking all this crap to me via text message about how like you need to like have your friends come and help you move and move. And I'm like sitting behind a train, so I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna turn back around since he wants to talk. Whatever, we'll talk. But he was basically saying like, yeah, like just more shit. Like, oh, you're just gonna get up and take your car and go see your little fucking friends and woo, and just like super jealous, possessive type shit. And then he proceeds on to be like, oh yeah, don't forget, like, you still need to get your shit and get out by the end of the month. I said, well, if I need to get out, why are you watching my TV? So I unplugged it, and I did not have an attitude. I was just like, well, if we're not going to be together, you need to stop using my amenities. So I literally handed him his Apple TV, and he acted like I, like, yanked it or something. I think he was just so shell-shocked by the fact that I stood up to him, and he didn't realize that the big screen that he enjoyed every day was mine. But yeah, he tried to put his hands on me, and I said, do not put your hands on me. You've already destroyed several pieces of my good crystal. Like, I mean, like, trinkets, things like that, big, heavy bowls, candy dishes, everything shattered. Like, the most toxic thing was when I got so used to being verbally abused that I actually like got to a point where he could say whatever he wanted and I could just watch my show and not even care. One night I had a glass of wine. I'm like sitting watching my like Netflix or whatever. He's talking shit, standing over me, all angry. I'm just literally not giving him any reaction. He takes the bottle of the wine in which I have a glass of and pours it over my head.
My chin is twitching from this story because I'm getting angry. But I just don't appreciate that, and I don't think
I like tearing up because like I never talk about like stuff that hurts my feelings, but that was a lot. To be completely like calm with somebody who's like berating you, and like it was just a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to be out of it. That's all I can say.
Me too.
It really was not a fair situation at all.
Mm-mm.
I think hell just froze over you guys. I cried.
I didn't mean to laugh.
But you know me, so you know, bitch. I never cry about nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Bitch, I didn't even cry when I saw my dad's dead body. I did not cry. I was like, so you gonna talk to me or not, Mr. Officer? Because I'm the only person that's gonna talk to you with a straight face. So everybody's gonna arrive. They're gonna freak out. They were so rude to me. They fucking like, oh yeah, pushed me to the side. The second all my family started arriving, everybody started freaking out. They came right back to me.
Wow.
But yeah, imagine seeing like literally your best friend and favorite parent on the ground dead in your family business that's named after you.
Yeah.
Like, it does something to you. That's why I couldn't understand why he chose October, like, to do that. Like, he knew it was the death anniversary. Like, I just think that it was really insensitive, and it wasn't without thought.
Yeah. But that's what happens when you're like in an abusive situation. Like, and it's not that I didn't want to help. It's just I knew if I
But I
got,
was already too far in. Like, I was too close. I was too isolated to get help.
yeah. So I mean, it's not your fault, but it's just something that happens, and I'm glad it's over. And I'm glad I don't have to hear about that person anymore. And like be all happy and smile on their face, and I know they're like disrespecting my friend. Like
I'm just
I'm
happy I don't have to look at his fine brother, his fine dad, or worry about drinking behind his mama who had herpes simplex.
okay.
That's right. You talk about my dead parent, and I'm talking about the one that's alive, putting canker sores on stuff. Take that to the bank. I didn't say no names. A hit dog will have to holler. If you want
My
the world to know,
body.
if you want the world to know it's your mama with herpes, say something. A
I
hit
mean,
dog should not holler in this situation.
yeah, they can't. They gonna hurt.
Bitch, I'm
Like,
about to get a brick in my window any moment.
they don't want it.
You know he don't want it.
So I'm just.
Well, the crazy thing is this is the part of the video where we're supposed to have our mental health check-in.
I think we already had it.
Like, I feel like I low-key gotta put like online therapy on this video because I've literally never said some of that stuff out loud.
You needed to get that off your chest, though. You can't hold that stuff in.
The only thing that I thought was a little much, and it's all well, there's two things, but there are two things that are always front of my mind when I think about like how I got in that toxic relationship. And I think the main thing is that they didn't have main interests of their own. They were just super enthralled with everything that I had going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't really like it's weird. They said that they like had common interests with me and some of it was expressed, but it seemed like once we got a couple months in, that person that I was supposed to be with was no longer there. Um, and then I always think about like when their brother came to town and they wanted to talk to me and he wouldn't let it happen. Like he
Wow.
would not let me talk to his brother. And from what I know, there was like a situation where like he didn't want to go to school. His brother had finals. He was a senior, and he's like, I can't be late. And he's like, if you leave me, I'm gonna kill myself. So his brother goes to school and takes his tests and stuff, and doesn't see his brother at school, and has a mental breakdown after his finals. And I think there was something about the mentality of my ex that my ex's brother wanted to express to me
Yeah.
that he felt like nobody else was going to do. And it makes a lot of sense now because he's really, really isolated from the family, and it makes a lot of sense. Like he'll deal with them once or twice a year, but he won't actually like be around because it's super dysfunctional.
Yeah. Wow. I'm just like,
I don't know. For me, for a mental health check-in on where I am today, I'm a much better person. Like I'm definitely a lot stronger because of the things I've been through. But my bullshit meter, chow, you get one good time with me now. Like there is no second and third chance. It's like when you show me who you are, I believe. So there's that. I still feel like I'm always gonna be like this person who doesn't take no shit, and I'm okay with that once again as well.
yeah.
What about you? Where do you feel like you are in terms of like mental health today?
Well, I feel like I'm in the best mental shape of my life, which sounds crazy, but I can't say that right after that. That sounds horrible, which sounds
No,
weird.
no, it is not horrible because you're an adult and you're being in the present. So if the present is the best of your mental health, then I would say you're on the right track.
Yeah, like I feel like I've had some hurdles, but I'm not in a bad place. I'm not in a dark place. I'm not depressed, and I'm actually really happy right now. And it's just amazing. Like I've never been this happy before, and I'm not sure why I'm this happy. Well, actually, I am kind of sure, and I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, my mental health is great. Ooh, I just had a flashback.
Oh
Uh,
no, a flashback. Oh,
anyway, my mental health is
just on fleek.
it's on fleek right now. Um, yeah, I just feel like there's nothing that I haven't done, and there's nothing that I like regret doing, and there's nothing I feel like, wow, I'm missing out. I mean, there are times, and I never really talked about this, but I'm very like, I've always been very maternal and very like wanting of children. And one thing that always bothers me is when I transitioned, I didn't think about the fact that I would not be able to have children after that. Like it did not dawn on me until after, and I got super depressed about that. And a lot of people don't know that about me. Like I see like my nieces and nephews, and I see them like growing up, and I'm like, I want my kids to grow up with them. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have those moments, but then I'm like, it's just not the right time, and I feel like God will let me know when the time is right, and I think I'll just know. Like I think it's just something within that we all know, like when it's time to adopt or go for like a surrogate, or there's different options for me, and I shouldn't think so hard about what if or what I should have done, because at the time it was like what was best for me, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's one thing that used to bother me that I really got over. And I mean, you know, you never get over it, but it gets easier, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean,
but
if we're talking current, I feel like I don't really have a lot of reasons to be upset other than I'm really gonna know myself. Like, I know my limits. I know when I'm being disrespected. I know when I'm being respected. I know when someone is being genuine, and I know when someone's being false. So that's my current struggle. It's trying to maintain happiness around all aspects of the paradigm. It's like, yeah, I'm like basically dating someone new, and it's like literally all signs point to yes. Um,
mhm.
so that's great, really healthy, super supportive, doesn't fight me for my attention or time. He literally works around the schedule and the allotments that I give him because he knows how important this all is to me. And like to feel that type of support is really different for me.
Yeah,
Because I don't know, I just thought love came with conditions and exceptions and compromises, and I'm fully allowed to be myself. Um, and I mean, that's something that we talked about. You know, like I let him know, like this is not going anywhere. Like this is
yeah,
something that is like a part of my life now. It's like a staple. So
hmm,
if any part of that bothers you, then that would obviously be an issue, and we wouldn't be together because I can't compromise on what I'm doing right now. Like it's a need, not a
exactly.
want. Um, but I think that's pretty much just the good and the bad. I think just the bad part is knowing when you're being disrespected and knowing how to react, because even recently I just had a situation where I just like, can I go home? Like I need to go home. And
Yeah,
like thank God the person who was there could actually understand me and know that, like, a big part of self-awareness is knowing when you've had enough. And I've had enough to the point where like I felt like if I didn't go home that I was going to react, or I was going to be that person that was going to be of the negative reputation that people cast onto me out of their insecurities. So
Yeah.
it just became a thing where it didn't feel healthy. And that's unfortunate because I don't want to go anywhere where I don't feel welcome, especially if it's supposed to put
Nobody
food in my mouth.
does.
I don't know.
It's not right, but I mean, everything happens for a reason, and like I always say, like when something bad happens, something really good's about to happen. Or I just feel like there's always like a balance in the universe. Like there's like not like there's always something for something, I guess you could say. I don't want to say like an eye for an eye, but like I just mean like when something
They
happens,
used to
something
say an
else.
eye for an eye, leave the world blind. I know that's right. I know that's right.
But yeah, like every time it never fails, something bad will happen. And it'll just be like the next day, like, oh my God, this is what it was for. Like that's just what always happens to me. So I always tell people I'm a little superstitious. So I'm like, oh, these bad things happen. That means something really amazing's about to happen. And I've always just stuck to that. So I'm always positive in the midst of like chaos.
Woo! In the midst of chaos, it's fight or flight, and I really don't want to do either or because it's somebody who's been through abuse. Those are your two options. There's no talking. There's a reaction, or there's a retreat. And I think people need to start being a lot more aware of the fact that people who have been literally I had like cuts and gashes, and I have the photos which I'm like so embarrassed about, but they exist for documentation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I kind of want to spill a little bit of my own tea because I feel like I did something to make sure I never go back, and I never told anyone. I didn't even tell you. But the way I knew that I wouldn't go back is because I made this like Reddit post completely exposing everything I went through through the span of the relationship. And it's under my screen name because I want to document it. And I wanted it to be something that where it's not necessarily like, yes, it's open to the public, but no one's looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like no one knows it's there. So
But all in all, it was really important for me personally to get a tangible representation of what I just wasted time doing. And
yeah.
I kind of want to read it, and I haven't read it in a long time, so I don't even remember what it says. I just know it was a culmination of the entire situation and where I was at like the lowest part.
Yeah.
And the saddest thing about like when you deal with narcissists, because they love bomb you and then they neglect you, you always run the risk of feeling Stockholmed, which is like similar to slave Stockholm syndrome. It's like they're not good for you, but you go back because
You
that's
don't know any better.
so yeah. Like looking through my profile right now. So yeah, so I wrote this 2 years ago. It's a little long, but I think this could be what we could do to actually close it out.
Okay.
All right, so the title of it is I'm finally free of my narcissistic abuser. And I just jump right into it. So, after a clouded fog of wondering what happened to the last 2 years of my life, I finally found clarity. The title may seem a bit dramatic, but allow me to explain in depth how I fell in love with a narcissist. A little over 2 years ago, I found myself intrigued with this guy. Overall, not my usual kind of suitor, but he was an all American looking type and like essentially the first moments we spent together, there was a really, really strong connection. After realizing there was an unusual amount of interest being shown to me that I'd never really had before, I essentially had stars in my eyes. After our first date, we decided just to call it a coupling because we had spent like 2 weeks after that every night, like together. Like when I would get off of work or they would get off of work, we would be together. Um, the first red flag was kind of like when I realized, oh, we just met and your lease is expiring. Like, and they like lived with some friends. So basically, oh yeah, I talk about it. So when the time came, I went over one last time and we talked about how we could make things work, even though he was moving back home, which was 2 hours away. Because yeah, essentially his roommates and their situation ended in May. So they already had like a new apartment and they were not trying to do that again. So I remember the first time around the 3 month mark when he joked about having an open relationship, and I was like crushed. Like I was like, yeah, I'll just keep reading so that way I don't have to like elaborate and get emotional. But yeah. Little did I know he was a narcissist. They get bored very easily, especially sexually, way faster than the average person. Sex isn't even about the connection; it's about having the control and the ability to feed your fetishes. Months went on with me transporting myself back and forth to visit, and piece by piece, secrets emerged about his past. Now, these were brought up in a joking way, and I took it as a teenage fit, but another red flag for sure. I'm going to go ahead and condense that paragraph, but essentially, they got invited to a pool party by someone in school who had teased them. Then they got uninvited because they were like, yeah, you're not my friend. And he wanted so badly to go, and he saw this like swimsuit that when it got wet, it would like change. Like you could see a pattern of like people in bathing suits on it. And when his mom told him no and told him to go to the car, he kicked out the windshield because it was important for him to make that public appearance and to shit on everyone with that swimsuit. And when he didn't get it, he could not handle like the gravity of not being able to get the satisfaction of getting even.
Wow. I'm just like,
yeah, oh, sorry. I was just making sure it's still going because I saw a little circle for a second. But okay. So essentially, all the while, I noticed the dysfunction in how the family would ignore if one member was being aggressive or coddle like my ex's needs. It was like hearing someone, grow up with like one of those TV families where everything's super like the kids are hitting the mom and like the mom has no backbone and like the mom and the kid are both scared of the dad. It's just like it was a really intense type of situation to walk into, especially from like a family dynamic standpoint. So basically, after 6 months, the narc moves back into town and is ready to really gain control. So while I'm gearing up for a semester back at school, he decides to rent. Oh wait, no. While gearing up for a semester back at school, he decides to randomly get a dog, which becomes an issue because the dog ate through the door, multiple crates, and so many items of my own clothing that I could have created an invoice. I love the fur ball, but he wasn't good as a solo dog. The begging for me to move in started because he wanted someone home to watch his dog and take care of his responsibilities. I pushed back until we were together a year to give him common space. But then when my mom started dating and I just wasn't feeling the dude, it was kind of like, I guess this is what I'm about to do. Essentially, I was kind of like made to play house husband and give up my dreams. There was so much tension. And the worst would be like literally when he would just pull the rug from underneath me emotionally and be like, well, your name's not on the lease, so I can have you removed at any moment.
That's
Um,
controlling.
yeah, it just made me feel really marginalized. I guess you could say that the nail in the coffin was him continuously playing off of my fear of being put out, and after so many times hearing comments, I finally take a dig at his gut, and he lost his shit and said he could no longer have sex with me because I made him feel unattractive, and that also we needed to be in an open relationship to repair his broken self-esteem. Now, let me say, I was in a rock and a hard place because I could not move back home due to drama, and staying was hell. He wanted a month, and reluctantly I agreed when he said it was only going to be open for 30 days to fix things or I would move out. So we didn't even make it 2 weeks. He came home after his first hookup crying to me about it and how it wasn't worth it and wondering why he wanted to do it in the first place. And he like wants to like literally hold me the entire night and just like apologize. But then when he wakes up the next morning, it's like that conversation never happened. Like
Wow.
never happened. Right back in the same thing. So yeah, essentially, yeah, he woke up the next day, wanted to go out and fuck more random. So at this point, I really mentally detached and created new bonds with some of the people that I'd made friends with in this open situation. And when he began to get more secretive, I snooped and came clean, and he pretty much shattered all of my crystal on the floor. And that was because I said, and I quote, like, you don't want to spend time with me, you would rather fucking talk to those ugly ass trolls. Because he would only talk to kids that were like acne ridden 18, 19-year-olds who he could totally manipulate. Where when he ran to the bathroom with my phone, he literally, one, he was upset with me because I told someone that his attitude was bigger than his dick. And
Oh my god.
and yeah. And then he was also like, and everybody who talks to you doesn't talk to me. And I was just like, it's because we're two different body types. You're the one that wanted to get out in these streets.
Oh, I can't.
So, building on the fact that I had new bonds being built, when I found myself dealing with him ruining my possessions, he didn't like that being shared with my friends. He also had an issue with me saying his tantrums were bigger than his penis to someone who had obviously been interested in me. After that was said, he poured wine over my head. The final straw was the day I brought my car home after being about 8 months and not being able to afford gas to see friends or anything because I was driving the H2, which is like literally $10 to get down the
Yeah.
street. He basically wanted to repeat the same arguments, and I told him I'm going to with friends. He instantly became jealous and told me to pack my stuff since I was going there for the night. When I arrived, I unplugged my TV and I brought into the apartment. He proceeded to like backhand my shoulder chest area. He wanted to be as violent as possible with me. Could really abuse me over the he thought he could really abuse me over the course of all these weeks and break me mentally to the point of submission, and I just wanted to be away from him. Instead of allowing me to leave, he hounds me down for the apartment keys to the point of jamming my leg into the hinges of my car door and not allowing me to close my door as I hold my chihuahua. He even thought he could punch me in the chest, which he actually ended up punching my dog. And at that point, it was time to defend myself, and I already had a cut up, bloody leg, and my mom was on the phone listening to me try to leave. So after he punches me, I defend myself. My mom advises me to call the police, which I did because I'm like, what the fuck? He won't let me go. Like, he's trying to hold me hostage. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, instead of that, they literally labeled me the aggressor and arrested me. And I'm like, how am I the aggressor? I'm covered in all kinds of cuts. He owns firearms. I have photos of destroyed property and all this past history that they literally looked me in my face and said, none of that matters.
We know what don't matter to them. That's all I gotta say.
Black lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that. I literally said, really? I have to go to jail. I was like, Black Lives Matter. He's like, it's not about that. I'm like, that's what it's about. Because clearly, I'm bleeding on myself. He is fine. All of his life force is encapsulated within his skin, where mine's is seeping out of me. It's just like, yeah. After weeks of space, oh wait, no, I like scrolled up on accident. Okay, so yeah, basically 12 hours later, I'm released and back at the apartment to get the rest of my items out of the apartment, and charges were dropped due to lack of evidence. Plus, I was the battered one. Beyond that, after weeks of space, we ended up back on play terms, and somehow I got Stockholmed into coming back, and I was quickly awakened when I noticed that he was playing games and choosing to make arguments bigger than what they were. After ignoring me and always accusing me of being on Grinder, I decided I'd log on before my work shift, but he was already online. So it's funny because we always had this conversation about like, if you catch your partner on Grinder, who's really guilty? Because you both don't need to be on there.
Yeah.
And the thing was, I was getting ready for work. I was literally snooping, and he never, ever shows up to my house unannounced. He was like banging on my door and all this shit, and I'm like getting ready for work. Um, but yeah, essentially, yeah, he came in the house kicking and attempting to destroy my shit on my mom's property. Like, he never liked when when I didn't adhere to his double standards, and he thought he could talk trash to my mom, but she quickly checked him at the door and showed him it.
Mm.
So to all my survivors of narcissistic abuse, don't look back, because at some point you might remember the moments were okay, but never forget how low and how far a narcissist will drag you just to protect their own image. They are also surrounded by, for the most part, people who condone their behavior, so it's an endless cycle. I've never thought of putting myself out there like this, but a big part of me knows that I'll never return to my abuser if I speak out.
Yeah. I get that.
And it was so therapeutic. Like, so many people had so much advice for me. Like, and it wasn't like feel better. It was like in detail, I can relate. I feel what you're going through, and you're going to be okay. And that was my turning point of like, I'm going to find myself again. And it took me a while, but that almost broke me.
I mean, that would do the worst to anybody. Like, that's like, you came out of it a lot better than most people do. Like, usually it gets worse and worse, and so I'm just grateful that you got out of that when you did, because I mean,
A lot of people don't never get out.
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many cases where you just hear about them on the news and you don't know what happened, and there's always like, oh, there was a struggle, and it's not a struggle. It's literally abuse, and people try to act like it's not what it is, and they try to look away from it, and they try to.
And like, no one would help me. Like, I tried to reach out to his friends because I thought that the behavior was like something new, and they literally came over a couple days later and like, yeah, we don't know why you sent that to us. Because I was scared that if I didn't show people what was happening and I came up dead, there would be no record. That's why.
What do you mean you don't know why?
That's what I'm saying. And that's the same friends who, like, he would talk about you and Kim and everybody and be like, your friends aren't collegiate. I mean, they're not necessarily like the smartest people in the world. I said, well, your friends don't shave their legs and they're not beauty queens either.
Excuse me, honey, I can learn whatever the hell I want to learn. Like, I've been taught things. I was a GATE student. I was skipping grades, honey. Like, don't try to act like I don't know nothing
Oh,
about
you
that.
ain't got to defend yourself to nobody who lets their dad do their homework in college.
That's what I'm saying. My father's been to more colleges than you will ever see in your entire life. Don't try to comfort me or my family or my friends like that. Like, y'all ignorant as fuck.
Woo.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, you would have never said that to my face. You would have got 1 foot to the mouth.
It's to the knee.
That's how we do it out here.
Herb,
I come
stop.
from a family of soccer players and athletes, and we were the first family on our island to be driving cars. So don't play with me.
Yeah, I mean, publicly, my relationship went from like really sweet in public to me just not posting about it at all. And I feel like that was just like when I was really suffering. So it's just weird. I didn't have a way out. I didn't have a way to talk about it. I didn't have anybody who would sympathize with me because at the end of the day, I mean, domestic violence is definitely something people take seriously, but they take it a lot seriously when you're a black man. Like, it's a lot less serious to them. Like,
Yeah.
okay. It's like, no, it wasn't like a back and forth type situation. I was literally,
Attacked.
yeah.
And he knew
I'm just
better to
happy
do
that,
that while we were talking because I would have been down there. My whole family would have been down there.
yeah, I didn't say anything. I was so embarrassed. I knew my friends couldn't save me. Like, yeah, I didn't really know what I was going to do or what my plan was. My plan was to survive to the next day, which is not healthy.
Yeah. But I understand. Like when you're in it, it's different.
Yeah. I'm just happy to be like in a different place. I mean, I'm not exactly to the destination I want to be, but I'm a lot closer away from his ass.
Yeah, you way closer. You way closer now. Like
I will say the runes did not lie.
they didn't. We sat there on that table and them rooms said they spread out and they're like he had to go. And we looked at each other. I remember looking at you and he looked up too, like, oh, like I remember his face. He looked
Yeah.
like he saw a ghost, and we just looked up, and I was like, damn, like I know what that means, but I'm not gonna say nothing right now.
It said we would have 2 false starts and then we would finally hit the ground running. And we literally had that.
We had to.
Yeah. And then we hit the ground running. We run
So,
it right now.
girl, you know it's good.
Okay. It's too soon for a Milli Vanilli joke.
Okay, sorry. I love Milli Vanilli. Oh God, don't you dare!
I just had to do it back because he did it in the last video.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I feel like
Milli and Vanilli go way back.
yeah. I just feel like being able to talk about this stuff openly and like go through my Reddit and talk about it and read it and like it gives me a lot of understanding about
Yeah.
myself. Like that's why I'm so damn tough. Like
Mm-hmm.
like
No mess.
yeah, like that's where the zero tolerance rule comes from. It's like we see each other.
Yeah, you don't play that.
I'm from the old school.
Even with me, like I feel like even when I start dating somebody, you are like having the same like feeling of like I gotta make sure this person's okay, like, and they're not doing something that they don't need to be doing, like. So I just think that comes from experience, and you just don't want anyone to go through what you went through.
Yes, and a word of advice to everyone: if you love him, check his medicine cabinet. Because mine used to have his sister's Adderall.
Okay.
That's why I tell you check that medicine cabinet because you never know who's a tweaker on the low.
Whew.
Just
Yeah,
because your sister get a prescription for it, don't mean it's yours.
that's illegal.
Show is, and his mama mailed it through the damn mail, like the post.
You are spilling tea right now. It is piping hot. I'm sweating. I'm just kidding.
When he popped to Addy, he sweat. It's like,
I'm just kidding.
oh.
That's not
Yeah.
okay.
I finally got to call all of that. Like, bye, beach. Go play in the mud.
That felt good. I felt good for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a different side to show. I feel like the more that this podcast continues, the more that like I'm just working on being transparent. Not like I've ever not been, but there's certain things that like I keep protected, and it's like, why am I protecting this person who like damn near wanted me dead?
Yeah.
It's Stockholm syndrome. That's why.
But you don't have to protect them. Like, you don't have to protect anybody but yourself. That's like your only job.
Well,
And
yeah,
your
I
kids.
felt like it got super heavy. This is like a really intense podcast. Like I cried at some points.
Yeah, I just, oh.
I know I had to be so confused with you. Like, are those tears? I've never seen tears.
I had to, like, you know, like when someone starts
Like
crying,
8
you
years,
don't know.
I've never seen a single tear.
No, it was like one of those moments where you see somebody and you're like, oh my God, you're crying. But I don't want to ask. So I had to sit there and wait for the scene. And I need to know what I'm looking at before So I was like, I'm gonna just let him just go through this.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about it, but it was just thinking. I think it's just the feeling I had, because that was essentially when it changed. That was when it was no longer verbal, and I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah. I've never been through that, thank God, but it's been close. Like,
I do remember what I did in retaliation, though. I can't lie. I remember what I did.
what did you do?
We had white walls.
Oh no, what'd you do?
When he let the whole thing go over my head and was talking shit, I was like, that's really fucked up. And I like painted the wall with wine. My name was on the lease, like he said.
You better than me.
I mean, I could have threw the glass. I wasn't that gangster. Like I
I
wasn't
could have
old.
the person. The person needed to be thrown in that situation, not the glass. And just and just
I should have just waited until he went in the shower and blew dry my hair. I'm just
okay.
What?
You're going too far. You're going too far.
Hey babe, can you catch this?
No. But that shit happens.
Fried his ass. I'm just playing.
No, I'm just saying that shit happens. Like, people can snap from the smallest thing. And I'm like, if you don't know somebody like that, you don't do stuff like that. People just think, oh, I'm gonna try to control you, and like that's the most dangerous thing you could ever do.
The other time I saw his inner child, like when I heard his feelings, I like gave him shit about the open relationship shit because it was still fresh and it was on my mind. He was in the shower counting to 4 over and over, hysterically crying, counting to 4.
I would have took 4 seconds, packed my shit, and been out. Like, you ain't gonna count. What you mean count?
I remember after like the whole fiasco and his family coming down after the whole arrest and everything, and me explaining to them that I really don't want to be with their son because if anything happens, I'm gonna have priors, even though I really wasn't the aggressor. Like,
Yeah.
and nobody wants to deal with a history. You know what I mean? Especially when I see how skewed things are. And when I finally like had the conversation with his mom, like I think he's actually a narcissist and I think he has like a mental disorder. His response was that is no longer like, it's no longer acknowledged by like the mental health like facilities that are ran by our country. And I'm just like, why do you know that stat by heart?
Because it happened. Sorry.
But
yeah, that's what it's
like,
to me.
Like, it didn't make no sense. And when I realized that everybody else is playing along and I was the only person who didn't know what game I was playing, I was done.
I mean, Jordan Peele made a movie about this.
Yes, bitch, get out.
Get no, the dude was like, as soon as you take a picture, he's like, run. Run.
And like, you know what? Since we're talking about it, I'm gonna really talk about it. Since we're being honest about my last horrible relationship, when I met his mom, she asked me if I had seen The Help and Django Unchained. And I had not seen either. And I told you he used to sing Strange Fruit when I would cook in the kitchen. And I didn't understand what that meant. I didn't know it was a song about hanging people of color.
It meant it was time to play grit ball, and you just didn't get the sign. Like grits, hot grits.
That's a whole
I
New
wish
Year's
America would. No, we're gonna take it back to Strange Fruit days, and I'm gonna pour grit on your ass because how dare you sing a song that my people had to deal with and struggle with and like fight for their lives, and you just singing it like it's just
like it was a joke.
like the Mickey Mouse theme song. Like I don't think so. And like you telling me all this again makes me angry all over again.
It's because a lot of it I never told you in the first place because I didn't understand the context and I didn't understand what type of danger I was in.
Yeah.
Like, I could have woke up to a fucking gun in my face any morning or any night.
That would have happened though. Like I don't think that's far fetched. I think you got out when you needed to get out. And I'm just saying.
All I can say is I'm with a very, very nice, normal person now who does not treat me with any malice. So,
And that's all it takes.
I don't see any of the same things in them at all.
That's amazing. I'm really happy.
Wow, I feel kind of bad about like just like my life story.
I was like, you feel bad about what? I thought you were gonna say him. I was like, nope.
No, I just mean like this is supposed to be about like I guess it's a part of my mental health and things, and it
definitely
is a part of self-worth. Like it has affected me, but I think it took a really deep, dark turn. Like I didn't expect for it to go as far as it did.
But I mean, sometimes that's what happens, and you just gotta roll with the feeling. And if you feel like you needed to get something off your chest, this is the place to do that. So you didn't say anything that was wrong.
I'd never make it back to that place. You mean a place where he said I would never make it back to?
That's what I'm saying. That place.
Yes, we here now.
We out here live almost every night. So
and my friends shave their legs
with an electric razor. That's expensive. I'm just kidding. No.
Like that's why we got static electricity.
What?
Because it's so furry.
I can't do this right now.
I'm sorry.
Check your leg hair length before you come talk to me.
Shave your legs before.
You're not at my level.
This is because I don't want to catch shit in the comments. I don't personally care if you shave your legs. I don't care. Man, woman, child, monkey. I don't care.
No, it's not about that.
Yeah, it's really not.
It's just like you cannot say that I'm not educated because I didn't go to college. Like,
yeah, so I could say she wasn't beautiful, and she wasn't.
Like, I'm sorry. That's disrespectful, and you've never even met me, and you never say that to my face.
Never.
Because I would say all the big words, like, and you would just be, what?
You want to hear me speak educated? I got you.
Yeah. You are duplicitous. I am enraged by your... I'm just kidding. You're a recidivist. I can't do this anymore.
Like, you guys gotta understand, though. Like, I didn't even care that he punched or hit me. My breaking part was when he hit my damn little chihuahua. Like, that was when I was like, oh, hell to the no. That was like round one in my mind. Like, that was when I was like, pow, pow to the pow. I hit him so hard, he screamed out loud that I broke his glasses. I just punched him square where, you know, you need to get off of me.
Queen Latifah told you where to punch him.
Who you calling up?
I put you down in his eye.
That's it.
No, with violence is not okay, but you have to defend yourself and you have to feel protected. And in fight or flight situations, you obviously fight, so people should know
That's
that.
exactly why I say for my mental health, I cannot be in fight or flight situations. I need to get out of the negativity because what I went through will fracture someone. Like most people don't come back from stuff like that like I have. Like, and I mean, you know my entire story. Like you've seen me literally go from like a kid who had the world at their expense, never worried about a drop of gas or where my meals were coming from, to rock bottom, no money. We are splitting $2 that we have and we're doing what we can. Like you've literally seen every version of myself. So it's weird because like I'll always miss and adore the person I was because I didn't know how good I had it. But I
Yeah,
still prefer who I am now, even though I don't have the resources to necessarily like leave and not have to deal with certain things in my life.
yeah. I think everybody like wishes that things were the way they used to be, and it used to be like a lot better for a lot of people. I know with me, like my life wasn't better when I was younger, but I miss like not as much responsibility. Like there's too much responsibility as an adult that I don't feel like I was prepared for. And I'm doing my best to maintain now, but I just remember there was a huge chunk of my 20s and early late teens that I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, you know what I mean? I think when you come from a family that like literally works for everything they have, and like they only have a split or like a set amount of this for this month and this for this month, and you don't really get to like enjoy yourself, or you don't have anything set because you don't know when your next meal is coming. You don't know when, you just, everything's uncertain, everything's up in the air. So I just feel like growing up, I had to like, I was what do you call it, disenchanted,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, wow, I have to be an adult now. Like there's no more fun time and there's no more, oh, let's party, let's do this. I remember thinking like I have to figure out where I'm getting my money from, because especially living in LA, like my parents could barely help me. Like they would send me like $10 every other day or like throughout the week, but that was all they could do. And $10 is like a pack of gum in Los Angeles. Like that doesn't mean nothing.
And I mean, you saw how I used to make it work out when it was time to pay the rent. I would teach a makeup class. I would literally just make a way out of no way. And I'll never forget, like, okay, I want to say her name starts with a J. I want to say it was like Jelena or something, but I know she lived in like Marina del something. It's like right by Santa Monica.
Marina Del Rey.
Yes. So I remember she booked me because she wanted me to like come and teach her how to like work through her makeup, and like I was gonna help her organize it all and everything. And she came out the house so snatched. And I was just so normal. And she's so funny. She's like, I thought you were gonna like show up and be like showing out. So I like put in all my cute stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. If I'd have known, I would have came like just. I was focusing on you today. It wasn't about me. And she was like, oh, that's fine. Now I can take these out. Like, I was like, oh my God, you really are my people. She literally came undone. Like, started taking out her clip-ins. She introduced me to her husband. Her husband brought us wine and left us alone in the bathroom for like 2 hours to just like talk makeup, application. We were rubber banding stuff, putting it all together, organizing it by shade. And I miss those opportunities to like provide for myself because I learned so much about the amount I can teach someone in an hour, and then that instant gratification I get the next day when they do their own face and they tag me. Like, I would see people literally go from like a solid 6 to like a damn 12. I don't mean that from like, I'm not putting anyone down. I'm just saying like we go from very normal people to like, wow, like the glam is real.
The level they were at, not like their looks. It's like,
No,
oh,
not at
you went
all.
from level 6 to level 12.
So I used to love that. Like that was really fun for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just never forget. I was like, this woman has it made. Like she goes to New York, she goes to Atlanta, she like hangs out with producers. Her husband's amazing. It's a little short, but he is amazing.
You're
They never a
funny.
little short, you know, as long as you know you got that shirt that says you must be this tall to rap. I'm just like
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God.
I appreciate those moments. Like I look back at LA now and I'm just like, I saw some crazy shit. I lived through some crazy shit. Um, but I'm happy that I no longer have that like veneer over Southern California. I see it for
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah. I agree. Um, LA was just,
Especially after living there like a year. I feel like Los Angeles actually is quite a seasonal town, meaning if you're in there for a season to do some work, or it's summer season, Halloween season, Pride season, like other than that, it's dead around here.
yeah, like Christmases and stuff. I thought it was gonna be amazing. I was like, where am I? This isn't Christmas.
Yeah, and everybody usually returns home from LA, so that's why.
Yeah, nobody even stays there. So it's just like, what's the point? If you can't spend Christmas somewhere, I don't want to live there. If I can't go to Christmas Tree Lane or like, no.
Do you remember like your darkest moments in LA? Because for me, I just remember. You remember the walking way that we used to go to CVS, where you see the giant like cicada-looking roach things? They were like huge.
Yes, 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 yes.
Do you
Hopscotch.
remember that overpass, like where we could actually see the freeway?
Yeah.
I used to like stand there when I go by myself and like debate it. Like, I know that's horrible,
Fuck.
but I would sit there and think about like how unhappy I was, how I didn't have all the things that like I used to have, how even if I were to die, there was no one to find me. There was no one to call my family. There was no one to like discover me. I'd just be a piece of meat on the road.
I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, I used to go up to the 7th floor of our apartment
Now I
building.
know why we really friends because he was thinking about holding hands and jumping. I'm just
This
like,
is not funny. This is not funny.
how I deal with trauma and pain. I told you, seeing somebody dead on the floor will change you.
I know, I know.
It's like every time something awkward happens, I get a smile. And people are like, "Bitch, my grandma died." I'm like, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah, like if somebody gets hurt, I'm like,
Ooh.
and it looks like I'm like laughing under there, but I'm not really laughing. I'm just like I don't know what to do, so I'm trying to hide my expression before you see it.
But yeah, I feel like that and my other two moments. One of them, I like. It was a later reaction. It was just like when I got around the wrong crowd and I realized like I can't do this. Like I'm not Los Angeles. Like I can't let this city break me and corrupt me. Like I just remember sitting up at like 3 a.m. listening to Ryan Seacrest, like the radio station, like 102.7, like chain smoking cigarettes out of depression. And I just made eye contact with myself and I was like stuck. And I was just like crying. And I just remember like seeing Lindsay Lohan do that on TV and it made me bawl all over again because I could
Yeah.
literally feel her pain. It was so like palpable. And yeah, other than that, the other dark moment was when I like took a dark shower and I just was like, what am I doing? Like in general, what am I doing? Like what? Why am I breathing? Like,
Yeah. Well, I used to have this song that I would listen to, and I never told anybody this, and I don't want to cry. But it's not even like the song had nothing to do with how it's feeling. It was that Aaliyah song with Drake. It's called like Enough Said or something.
mm-hmm.
And it was just like the way she was singing in the song. Like I knew she was already like passed on and everything, but it would just like comfort me like anytime I was sad. And I would just like walk through the like apartment complex, like on all the floors, just listening to that song, like just trying to like get the negativity out of my head and like stop having horrible thoughts. But that's when I went up to the seventh floor and I would just like stare down and just be like, I don't know, like I don't want to do this, but it's just like, what do you do when you're not happy and you feel like the world is crumbling? And like that song started to get to the point where it wasn't helping me anymore. Like I couldn't listen to it and like forget. Like it was too much. It was too heavy, and I was just like, I can't.
I
It
always
was like,
think about like how we used to sit on that rooftop and like look at the cityscape and just. I mean, I hate to say it, us in American Spirits, we were just chain smoking. Not even because like we wanted to. It was just like everyone else in Los Angeles did it.
so it was
So
just like it was natural.
yeah, it was like a social thing. So it's like we would just be up there, the American Spirits, watching the city, talking about all the things we want to accomplish and how we were going to make it happen. And the crazy thing is, everything that we talked about, we have now for the most part. It's
Yeah,
just the fact that we got it outside of the city, which is fine.
yeah, it's fine. Like I don't regret anything. It's just I didn't know at the time it would happen 6 or 7 years later. Like, or how many years has it been?
Yeah, it
Like
was
four,
2013.
yeah, like 6 years ago.
Yeah,
Wow. But I'm just happy we're here now and we're still alive and nothing broke us. I mean, we did break a little, but we came back and we're better than ever. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's
It's
important.
weird because it's like part of me is like I wouldn't change a part of my experience, but I know I'm not where I want to be yet. I think I've just learned to accept that things are what they are.
Yeah, that's the way you have to. You have to live in the moment and not think about the future too much and just be happy with what you're given at the moment because you don't know what's going to happen next. You know what I mean? And you just have to be open to the changing tides of life. Like everything's always changing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we owe it to at least ourselves to acknowledge the songs that we did actually like. I feel like obviously number one would have to be Safe and Sound by Capital Cities because we
Mm,
listened to that everywhere. Like, that was like, okay, I know everything's about to go to shit, but we still play the song and everything will be okay eventually. And I feel
yeah.
like even like I want to say maybe it was a week or so ago, we finally were like we came across it again while we were on the phone, and it was just a moment just to remember how scared we were. Like we were literally like staring fear and death in the face, like in a lot of ways. Like there was no buffer. It was
Yeah.
like literally sink or swim.
Yeah. It
Honestly,
just,
I'd rather sink in Los Angeles, child. Because I remember when the real estate dude for the apartment told us, in this city is not about who you know,
it's about.
who you blow.
And after that, I don't know if he meant,
Oh, I think he meant exactly what he meant. Did you
but
notice? Did you notice his necklace?
yes, I did.
It was big chain loops, and it had one of these on it, like the little T thing that goes through the circle to like lock it on. But it was like it looked like a dog collar.
Yeah. But he just, that just confirmed like this is not the place for me. Not
Mm,
forever. Like not after what I've been through. And
I've seen like some of the I gotta be real careful right now because I'm not trying to blow up anybody's spot. But one thing I can say about Los Angeles is that it's very similar to San Francisco in the fact that there's so much excessive richness and excessive poorness. I've like literally had made friends with people who lived in Glendale who had like the nicest apartments. There's like I think the refrigerator was Bluetooth and there was music coming out the ceiling. Okay. I was like, this is amazing. But and then like you meet people in Hollywood Hills and it's like this slum where people don't even clean their pool. I'm like, what are you doing with your life? You live where? Like, it'll get fixed eventually. What you mean? You own this right now.
eventually. But yeah, like
it's just weird.
You could literally walk from one area of LA and feel like you're really safe to another area where, like, literally that bridge that you were talking about earlier with all the roaches and everything. I was walking across that and you feel kind of safe before you get to that point, even though things still happen to us. But I remember walking to CVS across that bridge and this guy rides by on a bike and literally smacks my ass extremely hard, like to the point where I felt it, like it stung. And I was just like, I was so shocked and so angry and so humiliated that I didn't even remember that I could have chased after him. And I didn't really want to. I didn't know if I could, like, fight him. Like, if he's that crazy to just smack me on the butt, he don't even know me. I don't want to know what he gonna do if he sees me, like, trying to get it like that. But it just, like, embarrassed me, and I felt so horrible. And I don't even remember if I went to CVS. I think I just went home. But yeah, I just remember moments like that thinking, like, what am I doing here? Why am I still here?
And I felt exactly the same. Like, I just remember when we came back to Sacramento for Thanksgiving, and it was like, why are we in Los Angeles?
Yeah, that's when I think we made the decision, like, we need to come back.
Yeah, I think that literally was like when we were like, yeah, it's not worth all the stress.
Yeah.
Plus, we had a million freeloaders. We had Ricardo, we had Narisa, we had freaking, I don't even know. And then, like, what's his name was trying to, like, remedy the situation, and it just became this giant cluster of just drama.
It was crazy.
I ended up having to pay for it anyway, so it was just like...
Yeah, it's like, it was all not worth it. All of that. We might as well just left and just took our L at the beginning. But, I mean, everything happens for a reason, so...
Everything.
I learned my lesson.
Even no sheets? I'm just like...
I'm not.
We are not exposing models right now.
I'm not doing this.
Nope, we're not. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, like, I really enjoyed this podcast though. I feel like it was a really big, like, caca.
Oh yeah.
We got a lot off our chest, and I just feel like stay tuned for more things, more podcasts, more videos from Azrael&Shaudy and myself on both of our channels. You can find me in the Friend Supporting Friends section. So just watch out for that. I'm going to be coming out with videos, and he's always doing tarot readings and all kinds of live streams. So just be prepared for that.
Yeah, other than that, you guys make sure you check out other things on the channel. Make sure you visit Shaudy's channel. Check out our collaboration that we did for How to Look Like Bae. Because I feel like everyone needs to see that video. And everyone needs to learn the dance.
Yes. How to Look Like Bae challenge. Hashtag
yes, that's what we need to do. But we do have had... Wait, what's the other one? Bust Down While You Blend.
Bust Down While You Blend.
And there was no one else using that. Like, we made it, so.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess until the next podcast and the next topic, or until somebody messes up significantly on this platform. Let me tell you, since we started this podcast, I am just waiting for a scandal. I am waiting. I'm like, any one of y'all to just go ahead and do what y'all do best, which is drama. So
like, you gotta do like RuPaul, and she's like, "Fuck it up."
I feel like,
you know that meme I'm talking about, where it's like when you have a relationship and he's doing you right, and your brain's like, "Fuck it up." Everything.
Okay. Well, yeah. Until the next one, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Bye.